It's time to read the book. This book comes from the uh, Amazon bookstore. Who made the Joshua Seo, my grandson. I read already the first book of this. Yeah, the Center of Possibility. It was really good because I already read it through just one time, but I wanna recommend it to all the kids or include others because that's a really beautiful work. But I'm just uh, waiting. The other book is already arrived to me, and so I will start the reading. I wonder it comes from like the other planets experience the, from the Earth here to the Mars, the other planets story. Just we are watching the I just see the last words someone was watching, yeah, but Mars was no longer alone. So I so expect about this and go to about the author, uh, Joshua Seo. Joshua Seo is my uh, daughter's you know comes from my daughter's first son. Yeah, uh, he has two brothers and one sister. So I know him, but they this uh, book introduce about Joshua Seo. He is a 11-year-old. Next uh, week he's gonna graduate from his elementary school. So Joshua Seo is a passionate storyteller and emerging author who brings imagination, inten- intensity, and creativity to every page he writes with a strong interest in science fiction and futuristic worlds. Joshua creates stories that explore advanced technology, global conflict, and the complexity of human choice. He is the author of the SU and Son series. It's gonna go come the other, it will go to series, So I can already belonging to this series, and you too, beginning with SU and Son projects Mars, where he introduced readers to gripping narratives filled with ambition, mystery, and powerful characters like Kajar. His work often blends action, strategy, and emotional depth, reflecting his unique vision of the future. Joshua continues to develop new stories and expand his universe, aiming to inspire readers with bold ideas and unforgettable adventures. Yeah, let's go to the join. I wanna join to this, so interesting adventures. Yeah, unforgettable and interesting adventures. And we will go first. There are lots of characters in this book. The sun. Mars was supposed to be humanity's next great frontier. Six astronauts were chosen for a historic mission to explore and prepare the red planet for future settlement. The special spacecraft StarX, STRARX. I don't know as an adult. I don't see any movie about the StarX, but we'll go together carried them farther from Earth than any human had ever traveled before. So we're gonna, if you get this, the space aircraft through this book, then we're gonna expect the other planets, but especially here the Mars, just I guess. When but one of them had a different plan. Kaiser Clark was never meant to be part of the mission. On outlaw with a hidden past, he imperialized the expedition with a single goal to uncover the secret buried beneath Mars. When the mission reaches the planet, Kaiser betrays the crew and begins searching beneath the surface. What he finds is something no one expected, as hidden systems across Mars begin to awaken. Kaiser realized the planet holds far more than anyone imagined. What started as a mission of exploration becomes a race for control of an entire world. Now, with the Earth unaware of what has truly happened on Mars, Kaiser holds the key to a power that could change the future of humanity, and he has no intention of giving it back. Yeah, so just imagine about that. And the through by Joshua Seo, we're gonna go to the Imagine World. The copyright page, I from his childhood, he drew even this bar. He likes so reading the book and then drawing the uh, and make drawing, even include this bar, but at last his own the book bars, code bars. And so I was laugh, why you draw this kind of the so weird, the bar, but he has his own bars too. Yeah, copyright page. I asked him, I gonna read through my YouTube, the channel. So you already allow me, and I gonna read it. So, but we have to know the copyright page too. Sometimes we have to don't copy, or the, even recording too. But I my uh, Jesus and Hannah TV, read with kids, or I just read it, but any book, but the YouTube, Google would be uh, uh, make the the um, how do you call it? Yeah, just notice, or the remove, or go to the private corner. So I just trust Google, and my this Joshua Seo too. All rights reserved, 26 by Joshua Seo, copyright, and no part of this book may be reproduced, dis, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or electronic or mechanical method, and without the prior written permission of the author, except in the case of brief quotations used in reviews or scholarly works. This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, organizations, and events are either products of the author's imagination, or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, businesses, companies, events, or location is entirely coincidental. First edition, printed in the United States of America. Yeah, the 11-year-old boy, already made the 2 books, 3 books, and then Google managed his or the prop, the or the things include the yeah, or things. Dedication for those who look toward the stars and imagine what might be waiting beyond them. I wonder how many minutes or hours the reading time, but I will try to maybe 30 minutes. Already 10 minutes here, so I'm gonna introduce about the books and the author of this. So uh, table of contents are here. 10 chapter. So chapter 1, the announcement. 2, the sabotage. 3, hijacked. 4, the cost of a new name. 5, the selection. 6, beyond the atmosphere. And 7, the betrayal. 8, the plan. 9, the last step. 10, control, the epilogue. So I'm gonna go to epilogue first. So my reading style, if I see the new book, I just read or first the author, autography, and then table contents and epilogue, and go to the first page and then the last page, and go to the all the chapters of the first and last parts. Then I just read. So before I'm gonna uh, you know just look through or all the pages at one time. So epilogue: the night sky above Earth was clear. Thousands of stars were visible across the darkness, scattered like distant lights across the universe. Among them, one small red point shined faintly above the horizon. Mars. For years, the planet had fascinated scientists and explorers. It had been the destination of missions, rovers, and one historic expedition that ended in tragedy. The Star-X mission was still remembered as one of the greatest disasters in space exploration. But no one had returned to Mars since then. The red planet remained silent. The satellites continued orbiting it from a distance, sending back images and data to research stations on Earth, but no one attempted to land. The risks were considered too great, so Mars remained untouched. Far beneath the ocean, the UWF facility remained hidden in darkness. Inside the control room, several monitors displayed the signals from deep space. One screen showed the planet Mars. Small data readings moved slowly across the display. Sensors beneath the Martian crust continued transmitting information through the network. Everything was stable. Everything was running exactly as it should. Kaiser sat quietly in front of the console. He studied the planet on the screen for a moment before leaning back in the chair. The world above the ocean had no idea what had happened to them. Mars was still an empty world, a distant planet waiting for humanity to return. Kaiser knew better. The planet was already occupied, but not by cities, not by explorers, but by something far more powerful, a system, a network, and he controlled all of it. Kaiser reached forward and shut down the monitor. The control room grew dark again as the screen faded. Far beyond the world's Earth's atmosphere, the red planet continued orbiting the sun in silence, but Mars was no longer alone. Someone was watching. Yeah. Anyway, we just shared all of this, one books, the just see, and then epilogue, the Mars was no longer alone. Yeah, and we will go to the other planets too. And even I don't know, as a grandma, I didn't have quietly, interesting to the other planet world, and then, but I have interesting. Sometimes I just watch the pictures and then just a little bit read it through with the pictures, but just a little bit have touch it through the the movies, two or three like that, the several movies, but I didn't imagine about that. And I'm a Christian, so I sometimes the uh, uh, imagine through the pictures, which the other the painter just drawing the brilliant kingdom of heaven, uh, but the planets only I just uh, enjoyed to sing a planet song because of my elder grandson, so like the planet song, but I forgot the lyrics. But someone was watching, like me, but the more I'm a amateur and the professional, the the scientists and even kids also, uh, the more pro than me. Well, I will go anyway, read this chapter 1 through 10, and then I gonna just talk about another word through the planets. So uh, let's go read together. Let's go chapter 1, the announcement. Cape, Canaveral, Florida. The sun rose slowly over the Atlantic Ocean, spreading a golden light across the long stretch of coastline. Waves rolled gently toward the beach, while the morning air carried the smell of salt and warm sand. When I read the contents of here, so it's so exciting. Even I just read the only contents, the announcement, the sabotage. Yeah, they are kind of sabotage, hijacked. Yeah, cost of a new name, the selection beyond the atmosphere, the betrayer. Yeah, the plan, the last step, control. So I can guess there are war kind of better in here. So sabotage, hijacked, and betrayal. Yeah, the beyond the atmosphere, there are kind of plan, strategy or strategic. The last step, there must be the last chapter, the control. So there, I guess there are kind of the uh, control, the kind of uh, share piece like that. So I just already read the chapter 1, the first page. Uh, it it will be there are so interesting, but I wonder reading the character's name exactly how to pronounce. So it's just go, but I'm gonna kick through this chapter 1. But the quickly beauty of the ocean was not what had drawn thousands of people to the coast that morning. All eyes were turned inland beyond the security fences, and the launch towers stood something enormous. A rocket, the spacecraft STARX, I don't know even the original StarX, station maybe track or air, uh, like that. It rose high above the launch complex like a silver monument is smooth metal, or reflected the early sunlight glowing against the pale blue sky. This thick support arms held the rocket steady while crews worked along the massive launch tower and surrounded it. Cranes moved slowly. Trucks roared along service rows. Engineers in bright safety vests moved between buildings carrying equipment and tablets. The entire complex felt alive inside the nearby International Launch Press Center. The atmosphere was even more intense. Rows of chairs filled the large conference hall. Reporters from dozens of countries sat shoulder to shoulder, adjusting cameras and microphones while television crews aimed their lenses toward the stage. Large screens hung along the walls, showing a rotating image of a distant red planet, Mars. Yeah, if we just know, just mm, just more specific Mars related mm, Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon Musk wants to make the world for human to live uh, live together in Mars like Earth. So he's gonna make the uh, space stations and make the houses even. He is researching, and several years or next year, he's gonna already make the kind of the human uh, uh, place. Yeah, the Mars for centuries humanity. So that's why Elon Musk, the you must about you must read this kind of voice book. Yeah, Joshua. So series, it will be called series Mars, moons, and then the other planets too. For centuries, humanity had started at that world through telescopes and imagined what it might be like to stand there. Today, the first real step toward that dream was being announced. A quiet murmur moved through the crowd as a woman walked toward the podium. She was tall, calm, and competent. Director Elena Ramirez, leader of the Mars expedition program. Ramirez. The room slowly fell silent. Outside, the giant rocket stood waiting. Inside, the world listened. Good morning, Ramirez began. Her voice echoed gently through the hall and through millions of televisions around the world. Just imagine about that. Today we gather for an event that many generations of scientists, explorers, and dreamers have worked toward. She paused, glancing briefly toward the enormous rocket visible through the tall glass windows, tall glass windows behind the stage. For centuries, she continued. Mars has been the next destination for human exploration. Yeah, like the Elon Musk announced like this. The large screen behind her changed. A detailed image of the red planet appeared. Dust storms curled across its surface while enormous canyons stretched across the landscape. It is the most Earth-like world in our solar system, Lamorge said. And today we begin the mission that we will finally bring humanity there. The audience leaned forward, the cameras clicked rapidly. Another image appeared on the screen, the spacecraft StarX. The name stood for Solar Transit and Research Explorer. StarX, yeah, that's the StarX. Solar Transit and Research Explorer, the most advanced spacecraft humanity had ever built. Wow, that's the meaning of the StarX. The X means the human, the Solar Transit and the Research Explorer. That means that I gonna remind that I didn't know the Starbucks is the I familiar to hear the from this society, but actually I don't know the original word. The Solar Transit and Research Explorer. So, yeah, reminded the Starbucks. The ship had been designed over nearly 20 years by scientists and engineers from around the world. It was capable of traveling farther and farther than any previous exploration vessel. And in just a few months, it would attempt something no human had ever done before, travel to Mars. Mars Ramirez placed both hands on the podium. In 90 days, she said clearly, the spacecraft StarX will launch from Cape Canaveral on the first long-duration Mars expedition. The room erupted in applause. Reporters quickly raised their hands. How long will the mission last? Is this the beginning of a Mars colony? What new technology is being used? Mars lifted her hand slightly, asking for patience. The mission will be supported by the newly activated Sun SUN orbiter system, which will assist with navigation, solar energy management, and long-distance communication. Another image appeared on the screen behind her. Hundreds of satellites forming a glowing network around the sun. The sun SUN system. It's gonna be related because I don't know about what's the sun meaning. The solar utility network. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So uh, the when I reading the book, I didn't say about because my limited English cannot explain or just talk with you. But this one is my first time reading. But I'm gonna just if I want more, I just talk to you. The little bit different reading, so it's good. Though I'm just hesitating to talk to you, but I automatically I'm just the think about my questionable reading skill. The Sun SUN system is the solar utility network. Yeah, that's the StarX is the human, the the solar transit and the research explorer, and this SUN is the solar utility network. So I just thank you to author Joshua. Um, it is really good. Consist of the reading. It will good reading skill. It will be good, talk to others together. The when I read it, or the I don't know exactly about uh, how to read and how to understand, observe this kind of story, but already I make uh, the talk with you. Yeah. And then when I getting to read I know about the more detailed, source I can find here. The solar utility network had been built over the past decade using satellites satellites placed throughout the inner solar system. Together they created a powerful energy and navigation system I, navigation system capable of guiding spacecraft across enormous distances. Yeah, usually I just reading the Bible and kind of the related, religious books, but I didn't ever, the try to talk like this. But this one is the strange to me, the about the science field book, and the kind of space book. I wonder, I don't know, the vocabularies, the little bit strange, but I'm just talking with you and I'm asking to you like that. So thank you. Thank you, Joshua. It is so it's so funny and interesting to me. Uh, More, I want to read more like that. It was considered one of the most important technological achievements in human story. Lamorez continued, but the success of this mission will not depend only on technology. She tapped a control panel. A screen behind her changed again. Six empty silhouettes appeared. These six individuals, she said, will become the first long-term Mars expedition crew. A quiet excitement moved through the room from thousands of applicants around the world. Ramirez explained, six explorers will be selected to train here in Florida before boarding starts and beginning their journey to Mars. The audience applauded again. The audience applauded again. Humanity had officially begun its first mission toward another world across the planet. Millions of people watched the broadcast. Students gathered around the televisions in classrooms. Scientists paused their work in laboratories. Families sat together in living rooms. The idea that human beings would soon travel to Mars had once sounded impossible. Now it was becoming real, but hundreds of miles away in a much uh, quieter place. One man watched the broadcast with a very different expression. West Texas, the desert stretched endlessly beneath a bright blue sky. Heat shimmered above the highway while dry wind pushed small clouds of dust across the empty land. Along a lonely road stood an old roadside bar called the Rusty Spur. Hmm. Roadside bar called the Rusty Spur. The building had been there for decades. Its wooden sign creaked in the wind, and the windows were cloudy with age. Inside, the room was dim and quiet. A single television hung above the bar. The same broadcast from Florida flickered across the screen. Director Ramirez was Director Ramirez was still speaking about the Mars expedition. Behind the counter, the bartender slowly dried the glass with a towel. Only one customer sat inside the bar. He sat alone at a small table near the window, black cowboy hat, dark jacket, boots resting against the chair across from him. The man watched the television carefully. His name was Kaiser Clark. Yeah, the last the main character will come out. So the the I'm worried about to call the strange name. The pronounce is a little bit weird to me. So Kaiser Clark. Yeah, that will be my no more. Yes. Paper is good. You go to the Amazon bookstore, so you can buy it just $4 like that. It's too cheap. So I told him, yeah, you just go to $10 around like that. But he don't have courage to make the price more high, and because AI help make this, book stories good English, so he wondered he's gonna be right go to as an author, but it's good because you made you buy Joshua Seo, the not just the author, and then the more like the writer is instead of by. Yeah, that good choice. The across Texas people knew that name very well. Bank managers knew it. Security companies knew it. Yeah, 11-year-old boy make the kind of bank things, the security companies things, Yeah, and security company because he just interesting about space, craft like that. From his the small childhood, around the 3 to 4, 5, 6 year old at those time, he when he did not know the alphabet, but he already imagine about the books, and law enforcement agencies knew it better than anyone. For years, Kaiser Clark had been one of the most uh, elusive criminals in the state. Elusive criminals. Armored trucks had disappeared during transport. High security boats had been emptied overnight. Private or corporate shipments had vanished somewhere along lonely desert highways. Every time investigators came close to catching the man responsible, Kaiser Clark had already disappeared. Some called him a criminal, others called him a legend. Kaiser took a slow sip from the glass in front of him while the television showed a close-up of the giant rocket in Florida, Starix. So that's why I see this the cover pages, though dark, I can see here the one warrior, the kind of the Western gunman styles, warrior in the sun night, the little bit of glow, the sun, yeah, sun's, flourish of the sunlight here, and I can see this morning here there are cup, yeah, here the gunman, yeah, always the yeah going together with the cups. So wow, this is not wine, maybe water or juice like that, but here the uh, slow sip from the glass in front of him while the television showed a close-up of the giant rocket in Florida. Yeah, Starex. Oh yeah, it's just the front, the a close up of a giant rocket in Florida, Starex. So I can imagine about from the cover, page with all this. The at first time I'm so the I feel so funny because about the subject is about the mm, mm, planets, especially Mars, and then with the compare with the government and in the America uh, at first uh, the western western side of there are famous gunmen in movies. I also watch it from my childhood. There are gunmen, story, but go to the Mars. There are gunmen. The compare with this so funny, the uh, funny, it'll be the funny stories like that. So the bartender glanced toward him. "That thing looks expensive," the bartender said casually. Kaiser didn't answer immediately. He continued watching the screen. "Probably is," he said after a moment. "They are sending people to Mars," the bartender continued. "6 of them." Kaiser nodded slightly. "Yeah." The bartender leaned on the counter. "You ever think about going to space?" Kaiser gave a small smile. "No." The bartender laughed. "Didn't think so? Didn't think so? Not exactly a place for Texas outlaws." Outlaws in related the government, the criminals, but a place for Texas outlaws. The television screen showed the rocket again. Cameras slowly moved along its massive structure. Fuel tanks, engines, launch towers. Kaiser watched carefully. The bartender poured himself a drink. "They say that new system was it called the Sun? SUN?" he said. "They say it can guide ships across the whole solar system." Kaiser finally stood up. He placed a few beers on the table. Outside, the desert wind pushed against the old wooden door. "Technology like that," Kaiser said quietly, "change everything." The bartender raised an eyebrow. "For astronauts, maybe?" Before leaving, he looked back at the television one more time. The camera showed Mars, a distant red world floating silently in space. The bartender spoke again. "You planning on robbing the rocket or something?" he joked. Kaiser opened the door. Bright sunlight speared into the room. He stepped outside, pulled his hat lower over his eyes. Yeah, I gonna bring my head like this. That like government's, the Western men's, style of that kind of hat. So I'm just imagine about through the movies. No, Kaiser said calmly. Then he looked up toward the sky. Something bigger. The door closed behind him. The kind of door. You mean the bars door is a little bit the wooden door, the small, the mid only it has middle, and then make the easily go in and go out the door. I imagine about the door closed behind him above the Texas desert. The sky stretched endlessly toward the space far beyond the blue horizon. The red planet waited. And somewhere inside Kaiser Clark's mind, a plan had already begun forming, because while the world prepared to travel to Mars, Kaiser Clark had something else in mind. He was going to steal it. He was going to steal it. So interesting. I just read the chapter 1. I go to the 2 and through 10. Wow, it's so uh, interesting story. Yeah, so funny. And then I have read it all through uh, this book quickly, but I gonna stop here. Don't you don't you read more, hear more the other stories? But I gonna stop here because already 44 minutes. But I gonna read chapter 2 or 3 in 40 minutes. So see you at the next chapters. Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm happy to read it. Yeah.